Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
Norvelle, Brent Beaird, Patrick Young at a speaking engagement right now online. We hope that Patrick will be able to jump on with us here as we are in Florida Georgia Week. Brent Beaird, Florida Georgia Week. You've lived through a few million of these, huh? It's special time around here.
It is the greatest week.
Good week
in Jacksonville.
It really is
every year.
It really is. This is, and I love the Players Championship. And you know, we kind of encompass the players. It's in a different county, but it's right there. It's ours. It's ours. The Jaguar home games, playoff games when they get one, the Gator Bowl game, on and on and on. Nothing compares to Florida Georgia Week. It is the number one dominant sporting event in our area.
It is.
And Brent, speak to that. I don't think it's even close.
No, it's not. I look, of all the things that go on here, and the reason it's not close is the interest in it, and you've been there as much as I have. You've got 70 to 80 in the stadium, and you've got Terry White at double, triple that, just walking around the stadium within a mile radius easily, right?
The police force, the people that control or help control crowds, they kind of make that determination, and they consistently say what you just said.
Yeah.
Outside the stadium, a couple hours before the game time, hour after the game, there's 100,000 not even thinking about going into the stadium fans.
And you never go.
And don't want to go.
Yeah.
And their plan is not, it's not they didn't get a ticket. They have no interest in going.
No.
They have no. It is an incredible event. Comes up Saturday, 3:30. And actually, how weird is this, Britt? And you and I, we've lived it, so we know it. This will be the first time ABC will broadcast the Florida Georgia game since 2002.
That's amazing.
Because CBS got the rights and held on for a long time, and as they should. But you think about some of the great previous Florida Georgia games, including Run, Lindsey, Run. Those were ABC broadcasts.
Oh, yeah. They were.
You will have, and I think we've got Chris Fowler and Kurt Herbstreit.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've called this before. They haven't called this before.
Good point. Yeah.
How about that?
Well, but because it's been on CBS.
Because it's been on CBS 3:30 year after year after year. It's again 3:30, but it's not CBS. And your notes told me, I think this is like the 22nd straight year it's been at 3:30.
Yes.
CBS and now ABC.
Which is the perfect time.
It really is. It really is. This should be a daytime game, and it's special. Now, breaking news around Florida, Georgia. I think, did you see it today?
I did too. Yes.
And help me make sure I've got this right. The word out of obviously smart to do it right now. Wednesday before this game, Florida and Georgia, they both kind of have press releases, as does the SEC and everybody involved. The Florida Georgia game this year, obviously in Jacksonville. The Florida Georgia game next year in Jacksonville, 2025. The Florida Georgia game 2026 will be played at a neutral site, quote unquote, in Atlanta. Atlanta will host 2026 Florida Georgia in the beautiful Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The following year, 2027, Florida Georgia will be at a neutral site in Tampa. Tampa will host it in their NFL stadium, right? Now, 2028, right back here after the Stadium of the Future is built. That's the official, no more guessing, no more Gainesville, they're renovating, no more Orlando, Atlanta, Tampa. It goes Jacksonville, Atlanta, Tampa, back to Jacksonville.
Here's why it's important that the games are going to be and Atlanta and in Tampa is instead of having them on campus, the reason that's important is you're not going to have this, well, we went to the game in Athens, we really enjoyed it, it was fun. Maybe that's where the game should be at both campuses from here on. We're not going to have that. Plus, now we'll get the exact number at some point. My understanding is I've seen $5 million per team for this, and I may be off on that.
Wow.
But I want you to think about that. Let's just pretend that's exact right now.
Yeah.
Terry,
Wow.
that one game, that's more than a lot of teams have in their sports budget for the year, right?
Yeah, that is a hell of a day.
It
That
really
is a hell of a
isn't it?
day and a hell of an individual payout. No to the
Yes.
two teams. Yeah, that's a hell of a payout. So big goings on around Florida, Georgia. We're going to break down the game today, starting really hardcore today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, going into the game on Saturday. I've got some thoughts. I think there's a chance, there's a path that Florida could hang around. I respect what Georgia did in Austin,
Mm-hmm.
and it was impressive. I still don't think this is one of the better Georgia teams in the last 3 or 4 years.
It's not. It really is.
I think that helps Florida. That gives Florida a path. Hey, let me tell you what's going on today. We go 4 to 6. Glad you're with us here on the Young and Norvelle Show. Patrick, we hope, joins us. He's got an online speaking engagement going on right now. We hope he can catch up with us. Obviously, we're at the end of October. Today is the 30th. Tomorrow is Halloween. The 25th, 6th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and tomorrow, the 31st. The leather and lace costume party here at Twin Peaks has been going on. So the young ladies, through tomorrow, they'll do it through tomorrow. They're wearing their most fun, let's see, Halloween costumes. You won't be disappointed. As if their traditional Twin Peaks uniform was not scandalous enough. All week, they're serving you in their most scandalous Halloween costumes. And, we've got a little devilish devil, and we got a flight attendant over there. Brent Beaird. They're kicking it up a notch is what we call it here at Twin Peaks.
Yeah. Fortunately, the temperature in here, according to the sign, 27.9 right now, which is probably good. That's good for Terry Norvelle, okay?
I tell you. And let me tell you something. I'm fine with the standard uniforms they wear every day. We're here. I'm fine with that.
So if Halloween's every once a week, you're okay with that?
Yeah, it is a good time. The Scratch Kitchen is rocking and rolling. The girls are here. The ice cold draft beer, 27.6. And you said it. They are cooling this place off. It's supposed to be 29 degrees.
Yeah.
Draft beer, that's one of the things they're famous for at Twin Peaks. They went ahead and cooled it down just to cover.
Yeah.
Just to cover some, you know what.
Yeah, really.
Right. Brent Beaird, let's start and put Florida and Georgia on hold for a moment. Got a lot of Florida Georgia talk. I've got some thoughts on how I think Florida might hang around. I've also got some thoughts on where I think Billy Napier and the Florida football program is going. And I think there is a way he can survive. Some things have to fall in place. And I've got some wild ideas that I want to share. But Brent Beaird, the Jacksonville Jaguars, obviously we knew they were in fire sale mode a week or two ago. They've kind of decided that. We all knew, the national boys have been saying that the Jaguars have been calling around, hey, if you are a good football team and you think you need one more receiver, we got a guy named Christian Kirk.
Right.
And he's a good slot receiver. He can be your number 2, number 3. The Jaguars have been shopping Christian Kirk and his big salary. They want to get out from under his salary, and he's their 2 or 3, and he gets hurt.
Yes.
So you can't trade a guy that's on IR.
No, can't.
Yesterday, Cam Robinson does officially get traded. Minnesota in the hunt. They think they might have a big postseason. They go and trade Cam Robinson. The Jaguars' fire sale is on. I just don't know. Do they have much more to put out there? When you have a garage sale, you got to have something to make them stop the car.
Yeah.
Do they have anything else to stop the car?
I don't know. That's a great question. And as far as Cam Robinson, I'm not saying he can't play a few more years, but Terry, at some point, when kind of a guy's career is up in one particular place, and that's where he is. So, I mean, so really the trade deadline in a lot of ways, or is probably way too often guys in the twilight of their career who need a new start somewhere else.
Yeah, and you just said it. I wish I had jotted down what you just said 30 seconds ago, but in a nutshell, Cam Robinson, I think, still has upper-level NFL years ahead of him. He is he the best offensive lineman? No. In the league? No. He's never going to be. Is he the worst? No. Never going to be.
Right.
I think Cam Robinson still has some tread on his tires. But you said it a moment ago. I wish I knew how you phrased it. In a nutshell, Cam Robinson needs to leave Jacksonville. It's just time.
He needs another start.
There's a staleness. It's time. And it wouldn't surprise me if he goes, if he stays healthy, if he helps Minnesota.
Sure.
For a couple, 2 or 3 years, if they can extend him.
Absolutely. Well, in the way they're playing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you always need linemen as you get toward the playoff push. At this point, boy, oh boy, I know you've thought about this. Jacksonville playing this NFC North with all those teams. Terry, how brutal is that? I know they've got Philly this week on the road, and that's tough enough because they've gotten better. But I mean, virtually what? The Vikings and the Packers and the Lions.
Houston.
Listen, we used to laugh at those teams.
Yeah.
Those teams right now are some of the best in football at this point.
What a year to catch that division.
Really?
And it bounces around, but what a year to catch
it does.
That division. Again, the final five, there are some wins in the final five. You got to be standing up straight to go into the final five.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're 2-6. All indications are they'll lose in Philadelphia. That's 2-7.
Right.
Minnesota, they're making trades because they think this is their year.
Absolutely.
I mean, that could be 2-8.
Yeah.
Houston's coming up. Detroit.
Yes.
Detroit may be the best team in the league.
They really may be. Yeah.
Detroit, that could get you to 2-9.
Yeah.
You've got then Houston trying to close out their. It ain't pretty to get to those last five.
We said this last week, Terry. They probably will not win again until December.
Might not. How about that?
That's incredible.
And it's fire sale mode, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if anything finally told you that, the Cam Robinson trade told you that. Do you got to have something to get something?
Yes.
And the Jaguars, if you take their 5-ish guys that are untouchable,
right,
and they are untouchable, they're not going to trade Trevor Lawrence.
No.
They're not trading Hines Allen. They're not trading Trayvon Walker.
Right.
They're not trading Tyson Campbell. They've got a core guys. Outside of that, well, they don't have a great roster because when you're a bad team, you're not supposed to have a good roster.
No.
They don't have anybody that's going to make you pick up the phone if you're a franchise and go, hey, can we talk about Christian Kirk? Well, he's on the injured reserve.
And we said that in August.
Yes.
When we saw the rosters, that this team was not going to be very good. And they have lived up to that billing to where they have struggled. So, I mean,
I'm still waiting, and I don't want to be facetious guy because nobody likes facetious guy. But I'm literally still waiting. I started saying it in the offseason, said it all through the summer. I coined a phrase, the fluffy local Jaguar media. I'm still waiting for any Jaguar fan or fluffy Jaguar local media member to tell me what in the offseason made you think this team was going to be good.
Well,
I'm talking anything, and I don't think there's one thing, and the answer cannot be, well, that's my team, that's my favorite team, that's my hometown team. That's not an answer.
No, it's not. Well,
what told you, what
Absolutely.
led you to believe this team? I didn't think there was one thing, and I made the statement, Brent Beaird, March, April, May. I think last year's Jaguar team is better than this year, and I'll stick by it.
Well, and agree with that. I heard some local media the other day criticizing the national media because, well, they've got that mantra again that's so easy to talk about that the Jaguars aren't very good. Well, the reality is they're
true.
They're not.
Yeah.
So I mean, Terry, realistically, if you're if you're the national media in Walla Walla, Washington, what are you going to say?
Absolutely.
The same mantra, because it doesn't change.
And then I look ahead, and I don't want to be sky's falling down, Chicken Little guy. But I want to just talk legitimate. I mean, if I don't talk legit, and by the way, I've been in this game for 25, 30 years. You've been in this game for 25, 30 years. I've been wrong. I've been wrong a bunch. I'm not saying I'm the end-all be-all, but there's nothing looking ahead. I don't know one thing that could happen between now and next year's draft, now and next year's free agency period, now and next year's opening of next season. What could happen to make they're going to be bad next year?
And
how are they going to get it good with no salary cap?
I agree.
No high draft pick.
And you're looking at, from what you just said a few minutes ago, they've probably got minimum 12 losses on the season this year.
My God, 5-12.
Could that be conservative?
Easily, yeah. They got 2 wins now. They're going to end up with 5 or 6 wins.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah,
but where do you go? How do you get better in the NFL? How do you get better? You don't go draft and sign 30-something players. That's college.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And there's a portal.
Right.
And now there is a NFL portal, which is free agency. Well, you got to have money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They went out and signed 3 huge contracts. I don't think they've got wiggle room. So they're not going to have money for free agency.
Right.
They're not going to get the number 1 pick. They're going to win 5 or 6 games, which is going to give them the 11th, 12th, 13th pick. That's not the most valuable pick when you've got total rebuild.
And look,
how are they going to get better?
And if you've got multiple personnel changes, as far as not only with the players, but with the staff and with the overall organization, you and I both know, Terry, when you're new and you're in a situation, there's a learning curve, of maybe 2 or 3 years just to get things going there.
You would think, and again, and we need to get into this. If you're Shad Khan, and I want to get into this from a Jaguar standpoint, a Florida State standpoint, and a Florida standpoint, what do we think should happen in the offseason? From the Jaguar standpoint, Shad Khan, at minimum, has to blow out either his head coach or his general manager. I'm not so sure.
Or should he do both?
I'm not so sure he can do one and not do both. If Shad Khan blows it all up and starts from ground zero, does he include these silly analytics? Does he include his son? Does he have the guts to get rid of his son and go, the analytics? But how do you get rid of Peterson? If you get rid of Peterson, you're saying he was the problem, Balky was okay. If you get rid of Balky, it's just the opposite. Don't you have to get rid of both of them? So you guys, don't you?
Some of the peanut galleries.
Yeah, peanut galleries out. They're gone. They're gone. I got it. Number 1. I'm number 1.
Yeah.
I'm number 1.
Yeah, they were waving at you there. He gave you a thumbs up going out the door.
As bad as it's been from the head coaching position and the GM position, can you only make one move, or do you almost have to clean house, don't you? Could you look the Jaguar fans in the eye and go, we let Peterson go, Balky's still here? Well, you're telling them Balky was good at what he did. If you did just the opposite, you're telling them Peterson was good at. How could you do that?
Look, and when you look at their division, I mean, Houston certainly is one of the premier teams, beginning to be, frankly, if they're not now, in the National Football League. Now, Indianapolis, when they get a better quarterback, whoever that's going to be, instead of Anthony Richardson, they will be better. Now, Tennessee is an absolute dumpster fire.
Disaster.
But at least maybe they understand that now. We're making some changes.
Yeah. And I don't know Tennessee's salary cap situation. I don't know if they've got a couple guys on that roster that could command the league picking up the phone. Yeah. And they may. But, hey, I don't think Tennessee's going to kick it around for another 2 or 3 years. They're going to figure it out at some point and say, Will Levis isn't the guy or blah, blah, blah.
Right, true.
But, man, you look at the Jaguars and you go, how do NFL teams get better? Well, there's only a couple ways.
Yeah,
am I missing something?
No.
Through the draft?
Right, or free agency.
Yeah. How do you get better?
Right.
Trades? Well, they have nothing to trade. The draft, They're not going to get the number one pick. They're going to win too many games to get the one pick. And would you be confident that the Jaguar brass down there, if they had the pick again, the third year in third and 4 years or whatever, are they smart enough to know if the Jacksonville Jaguars got the first pick in this year, if they didn't win another game and they finished 2-15, and they are the number one pick in the 2025 draft, are they smart enough to go, the last thing you should do is use that pick and draft? Trade out of it. Get 2 players and a pick. Are they smart enough to do that?
If not more players at that point. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Man.
I don't know. How do you get better in the NFL?
Well, or the other way you get better is, do you have a competent enough coaching staff to develop some of the players that you've got who may be tweeners who could go to the next level?
I mean,
so there's maybe 3 ways of any team doing that.
You can say what you want about Cam Robinson. Of the 8 or 9 offensive linemen on the Jaguar roster right now, and I'm gonna say Cam's still there.
Mm-hmm.
He was clearly one of the best 1 or 2 guys. You can say what you want.
Sure.
Okay, so if he was, you're talking an entire offensive line rebuild.
Right,
entire offensive line. Zach Harrison, the draft pick from a couple years ago, okay, we still don't know what he is.
Yeah.
Do you think he's done anything to go, wow, there's your bedrock to build? No.
Right.
Right now, it looks like the Jaguars' entire offensive line has to be restructured. How do you do that in 1 year?
I don't think you really can't.
The wide receiver position. Has Brian Thomas been a nice receiver? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Has he been a huge upgrade from Calvin Ridley? I looked up the numbers today. I mean, he's a nice receiver and he's younger. But Calvin Ridley, Brian Thomas, Thomas has 33 catches. Ridley has like 22. Ridley one less game, but Ridley's playing with Will Levis for God's sake, and miserable. So that's almost a push.
Right.
And I tried to tell you guys, and if you're an honest Jaguar fan, I'm pointing at you. If Gabe Davis was gone to another team, you wouldn't know who he is.
Mm-mm.
Gabe Davis is a guy. There are 400 Gabe Davises in the National Football League. The receiving corps is no better. The running back situation, it looks like all it did was Tank Bigsby took ahead of ETN.
Right.
Trevor's Trevor. Ingram's a nice player when he's healthy, and he's healthy now. Defensively, defensive line, Hines Allen hasn't done diddly poo. Walker's actually outplayed him. That core of linebackers, I've tried to tell you, Muma and Lloyd, they're just guys. They've been here 3, 4, 5 years. They're not getting any better. And the secondary from last year, when they got rid of Williams, last year's secondary compared to this year's is night and day. This year's secondary is terrible. Ronald Darby could never play at this level in his 10th year. He wasn't going to be good in March when they got him, April when they got. What were they thinking?
So really, what you're saying overall is
it's a total rebuild.
Regardless who the coach and the administration is going to be, this frankly is a 2 or 3 year rebuild, right? At least.
How is it not?
How is it not? That's logical. And look, if they keep Terry, here's your situation with your offensive linemen. How many can you trade and get some value for without risking getting Trevor hurt?
Yes.
And if you,
but who has value? Who on the offensive line?
That's the question.
32-year-old Mitch Morris, the center they just got from Buffalo, and I went, you're trying to rebuild a bad offensive line with a 32-year-old center. I was going, I swear to God, Brent, in the offseason, there were times I'm going, am I the only idiot and everybody else is sane? Or am I the only sane person? Mitch Morris on that offensive line. Brandon Scherf can't play. Zach Harrison maybe could be your 4th or 5th guy.
Right,
They've got nothing on the offensive line. That's total rebuild.
Well, what you've got now at this point, and this would just extend into the season, it's just apathy. I mean, look, I'm around places during the time where they're playing and the TV's on, but no one's watching it.
I know what you mean. I have been recently in sports bars, and obviously I want to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's what we do.
Sure.
We've got to. I've been in sports bars this year
right.
and last year, particularly when it got spiraling. And it's 101, and are they gonna?
Yeah.
Are they gonna?
Yeah, I get it.
And there are Bengals over there, and there are Packers over here, and Steelers, and you're going, and they'll fire up this one on the Jags, or maybe that, and you're going, whoa, that's the apathy you're talking about.
It is
in your hometown.
Is. And there are some places I've been in with multiple TVs when the game's playing, and it's the TV's not even on the Jaguars.
Can't happen. I don't know what the answer is.
Mm-mm.
I don't know, and the answer may be all you can do is tough it out for 2 or 3 more years.
Yeah,
and get 2 more first picks of the draft.
Sure.
I mean, if that's the case, God almighty. I do think, and we're way past our first break, Zach. I promise we'll go to break. Come back, Brent. You've got some college news and notes. I've got a bunch from your news and notes. A lot to get into. We also want to look at what do the Seminoles do? What do the Gators do?
Yes.
What do they do? What if we're making the call on Florida State?
Right.
They got to do some stuff.
And of the 3 we're talking about, Florida, I think, has got the better future of any of them.
Isn't that wild?
And it is.
3-4 weeks ago, I mean, it's very. I'm still not sold on Napier. We'll get into this. Let's go ahead and take our break. We're past the break. Let's get to some college football news and notes. It is a Wednesday edition. Halloween tomorrow. The girls here at Twin Peaks, they are in their Halloween best. I promise you that you don't want to miss it. It's a special week where they are wearing their scandalous Halloween costumes. And I'm
trying to keep Terry focused.
Here comes the little red devil. Look at that little red devil. Hey, you little red devil. Get over here. Goes a little red devil. She didn't listen to me at all. Here she comes, and there she goes. Let's take a break. Zach Rothrock producing. We got some picks to go over. Jaguars, Gators, Seminoles, where do they go? Florida, Georgia preview. I've got some thoughts. Oh, the World Series. Maybe we've got a World Series. And Anthony Richardson. Who bought into this guy? I love the kid. But, I want to blame Anthony Richardson, some of his previous coaches. Classic example of put a great athlete at quarterback.
Classic.
Put a great athlete at shortstop, even though he's not a shortstop. Put a great athlete at point guard, even though maybe he's a 2 or 3 guard. Poor Anthony Richardson.
He's not a quarterback.
He's just not a quarterback. That and a whole lot more. Hang tight with us. If you want to drop us a chat, we would love to read it, no matter how you are consuming our show. Whatever platform, drop us a chat. We'll say hi and read it if we can get around to it. Brent Beaird, Terry Norvelle, and you on a hump day, a Wednesday edition of the Young and Norvelle Show, coming to you from Twin Peaks.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 143-2579.
All right, back we are. Let me, hold on our camera. You know that little red devil, Brent Beaird. Let me get you down, Brent Beaird. Look what the red devil did to our camera. Look, she just came in. The little red devil here at Twin Peaks. She wanted to use our ring light to get a good shot. And there we are. Hold on.
Absolutely no regard.
And she just screwed everything up.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. We're just barely chumping along here. Brent, can we see each other? I don't know if we can see each other. Can you see us?
Yes. Yeah, I'm in the picture.
All
and
right.
as soon as you sit down, you will be too.
All right, but we're kind of always, we're moving okay.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. That dadgum red devil, Stephanie, one of the million Twin Peak girls, she comes over busting up. Hey, can I get a selfie on that ring light? She's bumping stuff and not.
She got one. Yes.
But it's amazing when you're wearing that kind of outfit. You can do anything you want. Do anything you want. Welcome back to the Young and Norvelle Show, coming to you from, of course, our Hump Day Wednesday location, Twin Peaks, right here, 11892 Atlantic Boulevard at the intersection of Atlantic and Kernan. A lot of Jaguar talk. What do we got there? Dr. Bates. Yeah, we need Dr. Bates on a little bit early today, Brent Beaird. So let's talk some sports medicine with Southeast Orthopedic. Our buddy, Dr. Bates. I think our Townsend State squad, we got a win, but Maryland got off to a slow start. Am I right? What are we doing with Townsend first?
Yeah, Townsend played pretty well. You know, they got beat up on Monmouth, and it was a pretty good game, but they came out on top. That was really good. But Maryland really just got handed it to Minnesota. They couldn't do anything with them.
You guys scored some points at the end, Maryland did, but it was ugly early. That kind of shocked me a little bit coming off that big win over USC. But Townsend got the win. Maryland got the loss. Dr. Bates obviously played at Townsend. He's buddies with Maryland coach Mike Locksley over there for the Terps. Doc, you saw it. We all saw it. Christian Kirk, the minute he landed on that pass attempt, the minute Christian Kirk landed Sunday, I grabbed for my shoulder. I didn't know exactly what was hurt, but something didn't land right. And I know you saw it, Doc. Was it pretty apparent that nothing good was coming out of that as he got helped off the field?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching it with my wife, and I was like, yeah, it's either an AC joint or a clavicle fracture, basically the way he fell. and how he wasn't moving very well afterwards. And so I guess it was a clavicle fracture, and apparently I guess he already had surgery to fix it, to stabilize it, but apparently he's out for the rest of the season. It could be a pretty devastating injury, but those heal up pretty well once you fix them. The ones that are displaced, some don't need surgical fixation. Mm-hmm.
And Doc, I know Brent's got a couple questions. I want to stay with tell us the collarbone. What's the function? Is that just a stabilizing bone? Does it keep what is the function of the collarbone? And then when you break it, what are the functions that we're losing?
Yeah, so the collarbone pretty much does stabilize the shoulder. It prevents the shoulder or the scapula from falling away from the body. It also connects the whole upper extremity, either right or left, whichever one, to the rest of the trunk. And so it's really important for allowing for range of motion, kind of protecting all the whole brachial plexus, which is the plexus of nerves that gives you function to the upper extremity. It gives you sensation and motor function to the upper extremity. So it protects all of those as well.
Dr. Bates, good to see you with us. Question. Missouri has a quarterback named Brady Cook. Well, Brady Cook had a high ankle sprain in the first half of the Auburn game. He went into halftime, and they somehow did enough with him for him to play in the second half. He led them 95 yards, and they scored and beat Auburn. Now, he wasn't able to play the following week against Alabama, but my question is, when a quarterback has an injury like that, and they're in at halftime, and it's not, and it's just bad enough to where you need some treatment, but it's not bad enough to where you can't play. What for us laymen, what does an athletic staff do to get that ankle to have some support long enough for him to be able to play?
So there's a few things. I mean, the biggest thing is to try to get the inflammation down as much as you can initially, which is kind of icing. Even though you're not going to get it all the way down, just kind of reduce it a little bit. And then the second thing is stabilization. So whether that's taping, bracing, spatting of the cleats, those types of things. And then the other thing is motion. And you're trying to figure out, is it warm enough after you do all that stuff to that, and it's stabilized enough so that they can do lateral movement, can accelerate, can stop, all of those things. So you have to check all those things at halftime, and then as you come out, to start to warm up during the half, you really got to check how they're moving and whatnot. If they can move around in the pocket, if they can get away and protect themselves. Those are the situations that we're looking at.
And when Cook went out for Missouri, it was kind of non-contact, right? He was kind of dropping back, and he kind of caught his foot and went down. So it was non-contact. They pulled him right out, and Doc, they actually took him away from the stadium, out of the stadium. They went to a medical facility close by. But my point is, what Brent said, they probably got ice on it almost immediately, even in the short transport to the medical facility.
Right. Took
a quick image, put ice right back on it.
Yeah.
They came back. You had that's probably 30, 45 minutes of icing. Halftime's 20 minutes in college football, 12 in the NFL, but 20 in college football. So he probably had a good hour of good icing.
Probably did.
And I don't know if that's enough, Doc, but he had a good hour of icing probably. And then they determined
it was enough. It was enough for him to
came back in.
Determine he can go back and play. Mm-hmm.
Came back in. Let's switch. We're talking with Dr. Aaron Bates, obviously our Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, sports medicine segment here on Wednesdays. We love these segments. Unfortunately, there's always injuries that we have to talk about. The World Series now looks like it might be heating up. The Yankees have reared their head a little bit, along with a couple of fans in the front row. Ohtani is battling a slight shoulder separation, and if you saw him the other night, he got on first base. He walked, I think, and he's the designated hitter, so he's not playing in the field, right?
Right.
He spent the rest of the night, every time he's on base, he's holding his collar, the collar of his jersey, with one of his hands, and they're saying to brace. He's not leading off far, so he doesn't have to dive back into first base. So he's not taking a big lead, and he's holding I don't know if it's his right or left hand, the side that his shoulder is slightly separated, he's holding that, and they're saying for stability, because obviously they don't really want to put a sling on it because he needs movement to swing the bat. Have you heard of anything like that? He's holding his collar, trying to. Is that enough, or is that just a mental thing, or what do you think about that?
Well, that's just a poor man's sling, basically.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, he's resting his whole forequarter of his body by just with his hand on his collar, and that's the same thing that a sling does, except you have the strap that goes around your neck.
Yeah,
and you're resting your arm in it. So I mean, that's just the most comfortable position for him.
Yeah,
and it helps us to stabilize him to some extent.
Yeah.
He still's got to run around the bases.
And I don't know if y'all noticed that the other night though. Yeah, he walked on like 4 pitches, and he's a leadoff batter, so he's on first base, and he's immediately holding. I don't know if Brent, you saw it. He's the entire time he's on the bases now. He's got a swing, so he didn't want to be all tied in with a brace. But once he gets to first base, he's holding his jersey, and they say, and this may cost them a run. Who knows? He's not leading off far because he don't want to have to dive back to first base or second base or third base.
Right.
So he's getting a very minimal lead, and they're just trying to play through it because he can hit a ball 375 yards,
right. Absolutely.
feet away. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting the way he is really attacking this thing and just trying to play. Go ahead, Brent.
Dr. Bates, let's say a player gets hurt during the game. They go into halftime, he gets some treatment, he comes back out. In your experience, who makes the final decision on whether he plays or not? Is that the medical team? Is that in conference with the head coach? Just curious as to kind of how that protocol goes and what you've seen with a lot of teams.
Yeah, it's a compilation of everyone involved. So you have the medical team, the athletic trainers, the team doctor, if it's a concussion issue, then that's going to be the neurologist, neurosurgeon on the sideline, and then the coaching staff, including the head coach. And so there may be a situation where someone can go back in and play, but they're in a situation where they don't. The organization doesn't want them to go back into play because of the situation that they're in. Or, on the other hand, there may be a situation where we're like, hey, this guy or gal shouldn't play anymore.
Yeah.
This game. Like, first of all, they're not going to be any use to you, and second of all, they can do way more damage to themselves.
Sure.
So you kind of put a hard stop on that. And then what they do with that is what they do with that.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on what level you're talking about.
Well, Doc, I want to stay with what Brent just said. If I was a doctor, and I'm 100 million miles away from being a doctor, if I was a doctor and I was in that situation, I'm the team doctor, I'm the medical almost final word, and they take into consideration multiple words, the coach and the team doctor and the player, and maybe even the player's family, maybe down from the stands. If I was knowing the medical world loves documentation. The medical world is about documentation. All right. They want to say this and that, and here's the chart. If I was in your spot, I would, and I have deemed, I don't think this athlete should go back to competition today. If that was my stance as the medical doctor, I would want somebody that is kind of a third party hearing me make my pitch. For the, I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't want to just say,
complete sense.
I don't want the head coach and the player always wants to go back in. And I would want a third party hearing me or seeing my documentation that I don't necessarily agree that this player should go back in. Am I way off base?
No, exactly right. Particularly with the litigious society that we live in. And it's very difficult for medical staff to treat like high-level professional athletes that are playing for millions and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And these organizations that are paying them to do that. That's much different than
Yeah.
Friday night high school lights type of game. And so again, like I said, it's on different levels. It may mean different things. And so, yeah, you always want somebody to be able to back up, at least to tell somebody, oh, no, this person said this.
Yes.
This doc said this.
Yeah.
And, this happened, but this doc recommended this.
Yes.
Right.
Brent, you were going to say?
Dr. Bates, Tua is back playing for Miami after yet another concussion. Now, he's been cleared with concussion protocol, but even though he has been cleared, when you've had multiple concussions like that, do you still have effects of it, even though you've been cleared?
Question.
I mean, does he, let's just say 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, after he's been cleared, could he still wake up and have problems? Or could there still be some problems lingering even after being cleared?
Well, it depends on the intensity of the concussion, how many concussions you have, and all of that. You take it on a general basis. Like I've always said, concussions are additive, and so if you have multiple concussions, not like every concussion you had, you don't start at ground zero again. You're already at a certain level, and so and certain concussion symptoms can last longer than other concussions, depending on the person and the intensity of the hit, and how bad the concussion is. And so some of it is the player actually being honest with themselves. Do they actually have symptoms or not?
Yeah.
That's part of going through the concussion protocol. Now, there's other physical exam type of things that you can't fake, but yeah, obviously he went through the protocol, he passed it, but I don't think that there is a number of concussion type of deal in the NFL that says that, okay, after so many concussions, you can't play anymore.
Right.
The protocol states that if you're having symptoms, then you can't be playing.
Yeah.
If you can't pass certain physical exam tests, then you're not cleared to play. Once you pass all those things and you deem that you're not having those symptoms, well, then you're cleared to play. Now that's going to be on the player, and the organization if they want to play him.
Interesting. Doc, last thing, and I want to go back to what we just talked about a moment ago, and it got me thinking. You are a highly skilled, highly sought after in your industry orthopedic surgeon, and you are compensated as such, and you should be compensated as such. Conversely, when you're that level of your profession and you are working for a team, a professional sports team, I got to believe that there aren't many situations where Brent and the doctor comes in and talking to a head coach at the professional level and the player, the actual injured player. Those two entities are making more money than the doc, which is rare in some cases. I mean, you may be talking to a head football coach in the NFL that's knocking down $8 million a year. And a player, I mean,
you may be making more.
That's got to be an awkward. And I can't believe that a Dr. Bates or a Dr. Andrews or a doctor that you even get in a room with two other people that's got to be a strange. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and
they want to hear what they want to hear, man. They want to hear what they want to hear. And they've got the money.
And so do their agents.
And you know what? At that level, and I don't mean to cut you off, Doc, I want you to answer this. But at that level, that coach is probably, he didn't just start making that money. He's worked his way up. That player got that huge contract because they haven't heard a lot of things they don't want to hear in a lot of years, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, it can create a very sticky situation. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
I mean, because for us team physicians that do that, and I don't do that, as a head team physician. I was only an assistant team physician for the Jags for a year.
Right.
But I mean, just around the league, and we know this, you kind of have to look at it as a hobby, because the time that you spend away from your practice, covering games, doing, morning clinics, during, going over the training room in the evenings, things like that, doesn't make up for what you lose in the office or in the OR or whatnot.
Yeah.
And the times you got to be away from your family, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so, and there have been cases, and I don't know if you read about the case in Pittsburgh with, I think it was the Pittsburgh team doctor, the Eagles, DB or somebody, or a linebacker or something like that, had a knee injury, and so ended up suing the doc for $40 million. I mean,
yeah,
because that was, quote unquote, what he would have made throughout his NFL career.
Sure.
So you have those things, and so that can deter good docs from covering big time athletics.
Yeah. And then that coach and that player who they haven't been told no in a long time. They've hit a high
absolutely
mark, and they're like, Doc, I need your signature, my man.
No.
Doc, I need your signature right here. And Doc, I'll let you go. I know we're coming up on our time, but you remember the story that's still playing out at Penn State, where James Franklin was accused of twisting the arm. Twisting the arm of the team doctor, and that went against Penn State. It's kind of still floating out there, but man. There's Patrick. Patrick.
Pat.
Hey, Pat. Yeah. And Pat and I've tried to track that down and not wanting to bury anybody.
Yeah.
But that's
sound like it's been buried a little bit. But
it does.
Just from a team doc standpoint, we always and will always be on the side of the care and well-being of the player, no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's first and foremost. Now we have to do some other things like talking to the coaches and things like that, and from an organizational standpoint. But the bottom line is that we take care of the player, no matter what.
All right, Doc, we'll let you go. Who do the Tigers of Towson State? Who do we beat up on? Do we know yet, or do I need to look that up? Who we beating up this week?
They're at Richmond this weekend. Richmond.
That's a win. That is those stinking Spiders. Those Spiders ain't got no chance against those Tigers. Tigers beat Spiders, right?
The Terps are off this week.
And the Terps are off.
Doc, they're off.
Doc, good stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. Every time we talk to you, we're a lot smarter. Thank you, buddy. There's Pat. Pat, let's say hi before we take a top of the hour break. Hey, buddy, what are you doing?
On camera as I was stuffing my face. I appreciate that, Zach.
Hey, man, you've been busy, man. You've been all over the world, man. What's going on? Glad you're back. Glad you're back, man. Arkansas and Melbourne. You were at Melbourne earlier.
Yeah, that was my last. For this year, that's my last trip.
No, it's
anything
not.
Anything else that I'm doing is a drive. It's a drive. If there's
it's not. I'm going to get somebody to call you from Texas, and you're getting on a big bird, and you're going to go talk to Jerry Jones and the boys.
Up zeros back there.
Hey, what do we got? We got pasta there. What do we got?
Yeah, believe it or not, the chicken tortellini. Because I'm not a huge pasta person, but the chicken tortellini at Olive Garden is my favorite dish.
Really? I love pasta.
Oh, yeah.
Brent, you a pasta guy? I'm a pasta guy.
Carrabba's was the
it gets me fat, man.
Yeah, it's the last place. So yeah.
You gotta go to Maggiano's now, man.
Ooh, really?
Maggiano's too hard to get to, right in the middle of town center. Is that the one
you're right.
God darn, that town center drive me crazy.
Oh my gosh, sure. I was so mad about this. And normally, you know me, like I don't, but I was driving around meeting my one of my best friends at Maggiano's, him and his dad, and couldn't find a spot, so I had to go to Dick's. Dick's is kind of right behind it.
Yes.
And these people, they go into the handicap spot.
Right.
And he backs into it. And I don't want to be judgmental. I didn't want to say, hey, man, like, I'm actually disabled.
Yeah.
So I drove around. They got out of the car. They're walking just fine. And there's no, because, you can just have it on your plate. You can just have a handicap. Didn't have it. And I was like, wow. Wow.
Not cool. That's really not cool. Not cool. I'll tell you, Pat, way before I got to meet you and know you, I would never, ever park in a handicapped spot.
Right.
It's also a $250 fine.
Yep. Who would do that? How pompous? How pompous are you?
A lot of people
do that.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I'm sure all of us have like put our car in, staying in the vehicle at some point. Like maybe we're picking somebody up or something.
Yeah.
But like putting my car and getting out of it and saying like, no.
Hey Pat, we're up against our first hour break. Real quick, we've had a lot of talk, and we're going to switch it to what does Florida State do in the offseason? What does Florida do? We talked about the Jaguars. You saw it's fire sale time. They don't have a lot to sell. They don't have a lot to sell. Very much to sell. But
they got Cam Robinson.
Yeah, they sell Cam Robinson, and how bad is it for the Jaguars? Sometimes they just have no luck. Christian Kirk, they're ready to sell, and now he's got a broken collarbone. You can't do anything with an injured player. Another tough break for the Jags. Another tough break.
Have y'all talked about Anthony Richardson yet? I mean,
we're getting to him.
He's on the agenda.
Literally, you and I and Brent, we all could have predicted this was going to happen.
No, and without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
And it's sad. And it's sad. You know what? He's going to get out of this with a lot of money. He would have never gotten the money. But it's sad to me. I think he might have gotten railroaded by a junior high school football coach, a high school football coach, that looked at this athlete and said, best athlete, play quarterback. Best athlete, play shortstop. Best athlete, play point guard. Mm-hmm. He's just not a quarterback, Brent Beaird. You said that.
He has listen, he has completed, at this point, 44% of his passes. When you're completing,
that's free throw percentage. For God's sake.
If you're 44% from the 3-point line, that's probably okay. But when you're 44% pass completion, that's pretty poor.
44%, man.
How about that? In the NFL, you cannot do that.
Well, I would think that you would think, knowing that, because it's no hidden conundrum or confusion that Anthony Richardson did not get a lot of reps as a quarterback in college. There's no interpretation of that. Yeah. Zero, right? And yet, I guess the Colts think they're smarter than everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. And I tell you, I look at a guy like Anthony Richardson, and in terms of his accuracy,
draft before him, Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, definitely.
Stroud, and who else?
Yeah.
But anyway, at least with Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, they had great collegiate careers in terms
of Will Levis is more accurate than him.
Absolutely.
Levis is more accurate. I will say this. In terms of his accuracy or lack of accuracy, Richardson, from day one, I saw him throw the ball, and maybe just because I've played a lot of sports, man. We've all played a lot of sports. I've played a lot, and I've played a lot of throwing a ball.
Haven't played pickleball yet?
No, I'm not a pickleball guy yet. But I've thrown a lot. I played baseball, and you got to throw a ball to a small area, and it needs to be close. And there have been situations where a perfect example is Randy Johnson. Mm-hmm. He came through minor league baseball, came through here with the Suns or whoever they were at the Expos.
He did?
Randy Johnson, who went on to have as good a career as you can have, a great Hall of Fame career, great pitcher. Randy Johnson, the big lefty, 6'10". He had trouble here. He was Bull Durham. He was hitting the bull. Mm-hmm. He threw it 101 miles an hour, and nobody knew where it was going. Single A, double A here, triple A. But Randy Johnson, he had an issue.
How does that happen when you're that old?
Well,
I mean, that old, it's in your early 20s, because, he's probably was working on that control and whatnot. Well, since he was 12, 13, 14 years old.
But the thing I bring about Randy Johnson against Richardson not having any control, Randy Johnson's 6'10". Mm-hmm. And everybody that watched Randy Johnson, this big lefty that could throw it 101 miles an hour, he would literally hit the backstop sometime. But you said, okay, the main reason is he's so tall and gangly. He might not have his release point. Mm-hmm. He's got so many areas to miss, right? Yeah. He's so long, and his legs and his arms. So you go, he might learn how to have control. Anthony Richardson has no issue that you go, wow, we've got to let him grow into that. He just can't throw an object accurately, and some human beings just can't throw an object accurately.
Listen, Pat, we talked about this one time before. We cannot unsee in the Vanderbilt game when he should have thrown a Hail Mary. He I think you said this, Pat. Throws the ball 5 rows into the end zone instead of giving his teammates a chance to catch the ball. We just can't unsee.
I don't remember. He threw it too far.
Remember that? He threw it out of the end zone at Vanderbilt on the final play of the game.
Yes.
It went up. It must have been I thought, Pat, you were the one who said it. It went 5 to 10 rows.
At least.
In the end zone. Game over.
Yeah.
Game over. I'll never forget also his first year starting at Florida, they play at Tallahassee. Late in the game, Florida's driving to win the game. They end up losing.
Mm-hmm.
And they've driven and driven and driven. It's the last play of the game, last drive of the game. FSU's holding on by a thread. And Florida has a tight end, Jonathan Odom, Jason Odom's son, great lineman for the Gators. And Odom, as Florida's probably on an 8 or 9 play drive, and they're heading to the end zone. They're about to go win in Tallahassee. And Odom, the tight end, runs a little out route, and he's standing on the 12-yard line right next to the sideline, squared around, showing his numbers to Richardson, which would be about a 12-yard completion out of bounds. And here they go. They're probably going to Anthony Richardson, without pressure, threw that. Odom just kind of went like a center fielder with a home run over his head. He went – he never even looked for the ball because it was 25 feet above his head. He just doesn't have – and every athlete can't throw an object good.
Right.
Every athlete just can't throw an object good.
But he could throw it 80 yards.
80 yards.
But he can't throw it accurately 8 yards.
8 yards.
I don't give a darn about being able to throw the ball at 80 yards.
Yeah.
Give me a quick slant right between the numbers consistently, an out route or whatever.
I'm with you, Pat. We're going to take a break. Where do the Seminoles go? They have to go somewhere in the offseason. Mike Norvelle has to do stuff. What is the stuff? What about Billy Napier? Where does he go? And, Pat, we all have been asking the question. A lot of people have been writing in. We haven't seen you in a couple of days. You've been traveling. You've been speaking. But we saw some crazy Yankee fans last night. Pat, you weren't in New York, were you?
No.
Pat?
I was not.
That one guy looked like you a little bit.
Those guys were white.
That one guy looked like you a little bit.
The ones that took the ball out of Mookie Betts.
Yeah, that one guy,
they were white.
A little bit heavy, and Pat, you're not getting thinner. That one guy looked like you, Pat. Where were you last night?
How crazy is it that first off, how drunk did those guys have to be?
Oh my God!
Oh yeah,
Mookie
that guy's
the
face.
Ball, then one guy holds it, and the other one holds the guy's wrist. Mookie's wrist.
Patrick, the facial expression on the one guy was creepy.
It's amazing they're not in jail.
Did you see that facial expression on that one guy?
Can you imagine if they hurt him?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
If they
could have snapped his wrist.
Sure, they could have.
He's hanging up, right?
Right.
And I mean, Pat, what about the facial expression on the fat guy?
I didn't see the facial expression.
You saw it. He had this crazed look on his face.
But see, if it would have been, oops, I'm sorry. we reached out for the ball because we thought we could get it. But no, we grabbed the player.
And Patrick, it lasted about 10 seconds.
And they're banned now, right?
I think they're banned, right?
Yeah, they should be.
Oh.
Famous Cubs.
Yeah, Steve Bartman.
Yes.
Steve Bartman. There you
go. Bartman, that guy. Yes. And Bartman was a spur of the moment, and he felt contrite. His face said, oh, my God, what did I do? This guy was digging into the glove, and his facial expression was like a crazed man.
Never seen anything like it in my life.
It was something. Let's take a break. 1 down, 1 to go. Patrick Young, Brent Beaird, Terry Norvelle, and you coming to you live. Oh, boy, hump day before Halloween. And, Patrick, the girls are in their scandalous Halloween costumes.
I'm trying to keep him focused.
Oh, we got a little red devil.
Trying to keep him focused.
We got a little red devil running around.
Can we turn the camera around?
No, we cannot, Patrick. We're not running that kind of show, pal.
Can we turn the camera around?
1 down, hour to go. Stay with us here, the Young and Norvelle Show, coming to you from Twin Peaks.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
Since 1936, Procter Ace has been proudly helping Jax with all your home and garden projects. Whether you need tools, paint, plumbing supplies, or expert advice, we've got what you need to get the job done right. Looking to brighten your yard? Visit our garden center for plants, tools, and everything to make your outdoor space flourish. You're not just shopping here, you're part of our community. So come in today and let us help you tackle your next project with a smile. After all,
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
When I say it means something to me, gentlemen, it means something to me.
High school football is back and it's bigger than ever. Welcome to the Friday Night Zone Blitz.
It is bigger than a game.
Watch the biggest games each week live as the action unfolds with instant reaction and analysis from our Hall of Famer, Kevin Sullivan. It starts with live look-ins at the top matchups, including our Jaguars Prep Whataburger Game of the Week, and that is just the beginning of 4 straight hours of coverage. From 8 to 10:30, the Friday Night Zone Blitz is streaming on our Action News Jax app and online. At 10:30, the Friday Night Blitz you know and love. A half hour of highlights from around the area. 11 o'clock, we shine the spotlight on the bands that pump up the crowd. 11:15, it's time to blitz through the highlights online and on air. Then 11:35, back to the stream to break down the night's results with a reaction from local coaches. 4 straight hours of high school football on the Friday Night Zone Blitz. Only on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Baker Sports is local sports. Uniforms from Pop Warner and Little League to travel ball, high school, and college. They make you look good. They help you play good. Baker Sports has been helping families make memories that will last a lifetime with their Baker's Buckets. We've got a lot of these filled with baseballs and softballs in the garage. I've been throwing batting practice to Ty and Kaylee for years and also sit on the Baker's Bucket, catching Kaylee while she practices her pitching. Baker Sports is homegrown, and a lot of employees that used to play on local ball fields now work for Baker Sports, now helping you look good, play good, and make memories of your own. Visit Bakersport.com to see what Baker Sports can do for you. Custom apparel, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, embroidery, screen printing, and more. Baker Sports is local sports from Jacksonville to anywhere in the Southeast. Bakersport.com.
What'd you get? All right, back we are. Terry Norvelle coming to you from our Hump Day edition. You know where our Hump Day location is. Twin Peaks. We are right in the heart of Southside at the intersection of Atlantic and Kernan. Terry Norvelle, Patrick Young with us here. PY, man, what's going on? What's going on?
You know, my mom's here. Oh, Terry, I can't believe I did it.
What'd you do?
I now am the owner of a PlayStation 5.
Oh, boy. And is that like all sports, or what do you do with all that? I don't know anything about it.
You know, Scotty Wilbekin and I, we found this new game that he and I are playing. You know, he tore his ACL. He's out there in Turkey. So he and I, we play sometimes in the morning. But, you know, other than that, man, everything's good. Dogs are good.
Okay.
Mom's good. Yeah, we're down to traveling. Like,
and
on a plane until it's
so. you and I are going to the Danny Werfel Desire Street.
Yeah, we're going to that tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, right? What is,
Hey,
tell people
Sex
about
Panther's coming out.
it. I don't know if I can wear that there, man. I don't know. I don't know if those women are ready for that, man. Those are little highfalutin sweet ladies. I don't know if that's Sex Panther.
It may be
a little raw.
Is this Sex Panther time?
I feel like that's the time. If there's a time to bring it out.
I don't know. And you know, I'm going to be dressed nice. I don't know if I can do a nice dress and smell great.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
At least for a few minutes.
I'm thinking I'm probably going to get dressed before our show starts tomorrow. And then probably around, I don't know, 5.
Yeah.
Do the show from the car heading up there. Because,
I'll send you. So we're at Sliders until 6. I'll probably send you ahead, right?
Yeah.
You'll take off from Sliders a little early and get settled. And I'll be there a little bit later. And maybe I'll try and cut out. But we're look forward to it. I've never gone to the Danny Werfel Desire Street Ministries, Florida, Georgia gala, right? It's a fundraiser for his foundation, right?
Yeah, he does a great job, man. He raises a bunch of money for inner city youth. I think they have a great auction as well. You know, sometimes you don't have like a lot of awesome auction items, but they're going to have some fantastic stuff there. So, I'm pumped.
Yeah,
it's going to be a great time.
Pat,
I'm looking forward to it tomorrow.
I'm sure Martin will be there. You know, Martin's everywhere.
Pat, where's Danny headquartered now? The reason I ask, I've got a daughter and son-in-law who live in Decatur, Georgia, near Atlanta, and they showed me Danny's house in Atlanta. But I know he also was in New Orleans.
Wasn't he?
Where is he headquartered now? Do you know?
I think Gainesville.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I had the impression that he for the most of the year was in Gainesville.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could be
I know he was in New Orleans
He
for a long
was
time
for
because
a
that's where
while,
his foundation was based out of.
Right,
But that's been a while. Look forward to that. Then obviously Friday we've got the JU Florida baseball exhibition game in the baseball grounds before the Friday night before Florida, Georgia. And we're trying to do our show that Friday from that bar at the arena, which is that bar at the arena. So, it's called that bar at the arena.
How clever.
Which is that bar at the arena. We're trying to do it there. I want to thank Michael. And hopefully, if you're going down for the baseball exhibition, and man, I've been to this thing 2 or 3 times. It's Florida, Georgia a lot of times. This year it's going to be Florida JU.
Yeah.
It's fun, man. There'll be 10, 12,000 people there. It'll be sold out.
It'll be sold out.
And you guys know in that area Friday night, it's Florida, Georgia Friday night.
Yeah.
It's fun, man.
Have you been to RV City?
Yes.
I know they started up. RV City started up like
yesterday.
Yesterday.
Tuesday, maybe. Yeah, it's rocking and rolling. Well, let's get back into the show a little bit. Second hour. Brent and I teased this. We talked a lot about the Jaguars earlier. So let's jump into, and we kind of talked about what can they do. They don't have a lot of punches to throw in terms of getting good next year. They don't have much money. They spent a lot of money on big free agents. They're not going to get the number one pick.
Hasn't played yet, right?
Say that again.
Tyson Campbell still hasn't played this year, right?
I think he's gotten back. Yeah, he's been on the field a few weeks. I think he got back. So the Jaguars are up against.
I wasn't able to watch the game because I was in Arkansas.
There you go. They don't have a lot of trade collateral. I think they're in a tough spot for a couple of years. Florida State, Brent Beaird. I've got some theories. Mike Norvell's not getting fired. He's got to do some stuff. They're 1-7. They're probably going to win 2 or 3 games max. I don't know if you've got thoughts. Here's my thoughts while you guys are thinking about it. If I'm Florida State, you've got to do something. You probably got to whack your offensive coordinator.
Probably.
They haven't scored 21 or more points all year. They haven't scored over 21 points. The offense has been – who is that, Alex Atkins?
Yes.
He's probably got to make a move there. And I don't like firing people, but the FSU receivers have been so bad this year. You probably got to make a move with Ron Dugans, former FSU receiver, who is not a Mike Norvelle guy.
Right.
He's not a Mike Norvelle guy. He came – and I don't like firing people.
It sucks because, you can argue and say that last year they had some pretty good receivers.
Yeah, those were the portal guys they found. They weren't
Johnny Wilson and Coleman.
Can you find those guys every year, though? And they didn't this year. No development at all. So you probably got to make a move with Ron Dugans, I think. He's not one of your guys. He was a holdover.
Right.
And I think the same thing, and I'm not blaming this guy, but you might need to freshen up a little bit and tell Odell Higgins, hey, Odell, you played for Coach Bowden in the late 80s. You played some NFL football.
Sure.
Then you came right on the staff.
Right.
You've been a holdover through multiple coaching staffs. It's probably time. Those are my moves to kind of freshen it up and see if that might shake this program up a little bit.
He got the equity from last year with having a great year, and a lot of people could say they should have been in the playoffs. But look, the moves they made in the portal, especially Rodell Williams and Malik Benson. I mean, they
did nothing.
The guys from Alabama, they're average.
Yeah.
Now they are playing some of the younger players, Pat and Terry. They're rotating quarterback a little bit right now. Krummenhoek, and then Brock Glenn.
You got to give Krummenhoek the ball.
Yeah,
you've got to let the FSU guy
and let him work through it.
The highly recruited kid, Patrick. You got to give him the ball, don't you? Brady, whatever his name is, cute kid. He's not your answer.
No. Well, and they've got North Carolina this weekend,
and that's winnable.
It is. But look, I mean, at this point, oh yeah, yes. Okay, Notre Dame. Oh Lord, Notre Dame is next week.
Yeah,
and then you've got. I assume this is probably Colorado State, and then you've got Florida.
That's Charleston Southern.
That's it.
Charleston Southern. So they're going to beat Charleston Southern. They've got a chance to beat North Carolina. They're not winning more than 3 or 4 games.
No,
they're not winning.
No.
So, Pat, I don't know if there's anything that comes to your mind, but Mike Norvell's got to, I think, make some coaching staff moves. That's what businesses do.
It is.
Before the head guy gets the axe, you start whacking guys below you, right?
And look, you've got to have somebody representative for next year, because when that stadium's done, they open the year next year at home with Alabama.
I look at their schedule. It's tough.
It is.
FSU. So, Pat, that's kind of our thoughts. I don't know if you've got a thought on FSU. We can also move to Florida. I had an epiphany. Is that the word? Epiphany?
Yes, it is.
Today, I had an epiphany, and Pat, we're losing you on your audio. I had an epiphany today. I think I know what's going to happen with Florida, and it's a long roundabout. Here.
Are you about to go around your elbow to scratch your nose?
Something like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
What's your thing?
Here's what I think is going to happen with Florida. I think that Napier is going to win enough, and he's going to hang around.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. I don't think Napier is the guy to take Florida where the Florida program wants to go.
Correct.
9, 10, 11 wins.
Right.
Playoff. 10, 11 wins.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen, I think Napier is going to – he's got 5 games left. 4 against ranked teams and 1 against FSU. Okay, you with me? 4 ranked teams. Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and then Florida State.
Right,
so 4 ranked, 1 non-ranked. I think Napier and Florida, they're going to win one of those 4 against the ranked teams.
Yes.
They're going to steal one.
I would agree. I think they will too.
They're going to beat FSU, and he's coming back. I don't know if I agree with it, but I think what's going to happen, if I'm Florida, I go to him and say, you're coming back. You just won 6 games, maybe 7 games. You're coming back. You've got to make some changes. And I think Napier, to keep his job, will agree and say, and he'll come out and do coach speak. Here's coach speak. Hey, guys, the end of the season is upon us. In our quest to always try to take our program to the highest level we can, I've decided that we're going to make some changes. I'm going to move into a CEO type role so I can put eyes on every aspect of our program.
Yes.
We're going to bring in an offensive coordinator, blah, blah, blah. He's going to bring in a Dana Holgerson or something like that.
Yeah.
You know who I think he's going to bring in? And you heard it here first. No sources at all. I think Napier's going to win just enough to hang around if he makes changes. And I think Napier is going to say, and by the way, folks, I want to introduce our brand new first-year offensive coordinator. This guy is one of the young, hot names that's carving out a niche and going to be a big-time coach in college football.
Cade Bell.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce the new Florida offensive coordinator, Cade Bell from Pittsburgh. The hot guy from Pittsburgh, Kerwin Bell's son, who's 32 years old and considered the up-and-comer, one of the big up. I think Cade Bell's going to come in and be the OC. You heard it here first.
We went to Providence. We went to high school together.
You did with Cade?
Yeah.
Nice.
1 year younger. He was the quarterback at Providence.
He is at
Hey, Pat.
That's what I think's going. And you heard it here first when it happens.
What did you see in him? Because I can tell you right now, and to Terry's spot on, he is one of the best high college offense coordinators right now.
Young, up and coming.
Now, obviously, this was years ago, and so forth. Did you see some of that in him?
No. And what's hilarious, my group of high school friends, like we've been kind of like every now and then Cade will come up, and we're like, none of us had any belief that he would be what he's doing. Not that he wasn't, bonehead, immature kid.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you this, Terry, because you didn't. I think I asked you this. It probably was 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
About the coach at Indiana, the Hoosiers,
Signetti.
Hey man, you were like, "Who is this guy?" Yeah, whatever. Hey man, that dude he's doing it. They would kick Florida's teeth in right now.
His biggest problem. His biggest problem. Ascending higher, he's 63 years old. That's a big negative. Yeah. And Indiana, it was impressive what they did Saturday. I watched a lot of that game. They haven't played anybody. Nebraska's Nebraska. They haven't played anybody.
Yeah.
But no, his biggest Kurt Signetti, football family. His father Signetti is deep rooted. Coached a long time.
He was on the Alabama staff.
Too. His biggest issue is he's 63 years old, as I understand it.
But look, I want
to go back. I want to go back to Patrick, though. You said Cade Bell, little snotty-nosed kid. Let me give you a little 2 or 3 year run with him. And obviously, he's a 32-year-old father, got a couple kids. Mm-hmm. He's mentored. He's paid his dues. He's now considered Pittsburgh's undefeated. They're playing SMU.
Right.
They're chasing.
That's going to be a good one.
They're chasing the ACC title.
They are.
And he's considered a big time. SMU's fun. But Cade Bell, when I worked at JU for 3 years, was the radio – football, baseball, basketball, play-by-play guy for 3 years. Cade was the quarterback for Kerwin in those years. And you know what he was? He was a 19, 20, 21-year-old, 3-year, and I liked him. I love the family. I love Cossette and everybody. I love the family. Cade was a 20-year-old immature son of the head coach.
Yep.
Good little player, but he's grown up, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
He was a little snotty nose. My dad's the coach. Yeah. I'm the quarterback. No, he was the best player. He deserved to be the quarterback at that level. But he's held in high regard right now.
He is. Now to your point, if he brought Bell in, he would buy himself. Then Napier would buy himself some time.
And that would stir Florida up a little bit.
Now let me throw this out for both of you. What happens if by a third party, if someone they're not expecting, I'm going to throw Eli Drinkman in there.
Okay.
Lane may come up, although they're starting to struggle somewhat. What if someone gets in touch with Scott Strickland and that someone's agent, someone's third party, so and so's interested, but if you're going to do something, you need to get him right now.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a shot at it.
That's tough, Pat. If they say right now.
What do you think that? How would they react to that?
What are your thoughts, Pat? If Kiffin's agent, which is probably Jimmy Sexton, said Lane's interested, but he wants to be named the first week of December.
Yes.
He don't want any ambiguity. We don't want this thing to drag out. Here's our number.
Yeah.
Pat, what do you think? What do you think? And is Strickland powerful enough to make that call?
Oh man.
Woo.
Well, you just have a big $30 million right in front of you because there's Napier and then the $4 million for
and the staff.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a great point though. If Kiffin says, "Hey, I want to hit the ground running. This isn't going to go in. I don't care about bowl games and waiting until y'all play and we play. My guys ready."
Now, here's the other scenario with this. Let's say they play Georgia close, and they're competitive into the fourth quarter, and then they lose by 10 to Texas. We understand that.
Sure.
But if they beat either LSU or Ole Miss, and they're going to beat Florida State, that's going to give you probably 2 more.
Yeah.
And you're going to qualify for a bowl. Does Strickland in November say, Now you don't give him a 10-year contract, but does Strickland say he'll be back? He'll be back next year.
Patrick, in that scenario, Strickland, speaking for the University of Florida, has got to come out and verbally support his guy. Now,
he's done that a few times, and I think before the Miami game, he's like, "Oh yeah, we're not. This is our guy," and I wonder if he still feels it strongly. I'm sure he does. The last thing he wants to do is have to fire another head coach.
I think you can come out and verbally support your guy. And Brent, to speak what you just said, yes, if I'm Strickland, I'm going to come out that Thanksgiving weekend, maybe even that Sunday, and after Florida State and a win, and support my guy. That doesn't mean me and my board of trustees haven't already had him in and said, you got to make some moves, my man.
Yeah.
You got to be a CEO. You got to overlook this program. You got to bring in a Dayton Holgerson, a Kate Bell, or somebody.
Is that weird? But to your point, Terry, the greatest quote that I got to give you credit. College coaches rather lose their way than win somebody else's.
Man, they are stubborn.
They're so stubborn. So I'm just like,
football coaches are stubborn.
But compared to the Jaguars and FSU, Florida actually has some really young, good talent.
Yeah.
Isn't
it weird how it's turned?
Yeah, Lagway could be special. They've got a couple wide receivers who have been impressive. This Ball kid who scored 5 touchdowns.
Isn't that cool?
The Pyburn kid has looked good. You could make you could make a case that next year, and particularly if Billy comes back, and I still say he's got to get a special teams coordinator, and he's got to get an offensive coordinator, and let him call plays, and let him do his own. You could make a case that they could be what, 8-4 next year?
8-4 team. Patrick, I want to throw this out. Sometimes we all just need to let things happen, because I'm confident in saying this. Florida offseason, Florida football, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, going into the Miami game, offseason. My God, that's the toughest schedule in the history of college football.
Yes.
Well, you know what? That schedule is not the toughest. It has not played out as tough as people thought. And you could say what you want. Is it a tough schedule? Yes. Is it this unbelievable gauntlet? Miami's good. Miami's real good. Texas A&M has surprised us, okay? They're pretty good. Kentucky is nowhere near.
No.
We were saying there's no way they're going to be. Kentucky's not that great. Ole Miss is beatable. LSU is beatable.
They are.
On paper, in May, the world was going, they're going to get routed by Ole Miss, and they may. They're going to get routed by LSU. And frankly, Georgia woke up in Austin. This isn't the best Georgia team in 5 years.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
And people were also saying, boy, Florida State's going to come back with a vengeance. They haven't.
No.
This schedule's not the gauntlet that people thought it was going to be.
No.
Would you agree with that, Brent?
Yes. And even though the Gus
tough.
Even though the Gus Bus has lost 5 in a row at UCF, that was considered a decent win.
Oh, man, they better show up and win, man. UCF's going to come in and beat them. No, that schedule's tough, but it's not the toughest schedule in the history. Sometimes you just don't let things play out.
But look, what they don't need, let's throw this in here too, what they don't need is another Miami or A&M performance where they can't do anything right,
and they don't compete, Pat.
and they look hapless at that point.
They can't get routed 40-10 and not compete. Wouldn't you agree with that, Pat? The last.
Oh my gosh,
you can't have another one of those.
Oh my gosh, I mean, I this make me miserable.
Yeah, and as we go to break, I'll throw this out. We teased this a little bit yesterday. I want you guys, Billy Napier. I know my answer. Is he better if he can only have one? Billy Napier, he wins one of the 4 that he's going to be underdog, the 4 we talked about that he still has left, or he wins in Tallahassee. Think about those. Is he better off pulling an upset over one of the big 4 ranked teams, losing in Tallahassee, or not pulling an upset and winning in Tallahassee? I know my thought. I'll take y'all's thought if I haven't confused you on the other side. Half hour left, he is Patrick Young with that smile. That guy is Brent Beaird with that smile, and I'm Terry Norvelle. I got
Brent Beard's the best.
I got nothing going on. We're
He's
back.
the best.
But I am sitting at Twin Peaks.
But Patty just got a visit from the devil.
How about that?
A few minutes
little
ago.
red devil running around.
Yes.
Little devil. Yeah, little devil.
There's some things Pat needs to know off the air.
Red
I do.
Through here,
Absolutely.
through here. All right, let's come back. We'll start
All right,
wrapping up the
guys.
final half hour on a Wednesday from Twin Peaks.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Rick's Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Rick's Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Rick's Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com. And while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
All right, let's get back into it here. We're wrapping things up. Busy, fun, as always, show. The Young and Norvelle show coming to you from Twin Peaks. Hey, tomorrow we're down at Sliders Oyster Bar. You know where that's at, down in Neptune Beach. And I know Pat and I are looking forward to it. We'll have a great show at Sliders. And then as we welcome Brent Beaird back here, I think Pat had to step aside. And then we're heading down. I'm really looking forward to the Danny Warfel Desire Street Ministries gala down at the Players Championship tomorrow, and raising money for his foundation. But there'll be a bunch of dignitaries. I'm looking forward to obviously Gators and Bulldogs, and Danny's just I don't know Danny much. Was around him in '96, 5'4" in the media, but just a heart of gold. Just a heart of gold, right?
Listen, he has done so much good for humanity.
Very spiritual.
Really, very spiritual. Really appreciate what he's done. I also want to add that the grandfather here, between the two of us, will be with his granddaughter tomorrow.
Nice.
She is.
What are we going as?
She is dressing up as these orange cones that are on the side of the road. She's dressing up as one of those. It's got a square that her face shines through it.
Are you sure she's not being a candy corn?
Yeah.
I think it's a candy corn.
Let me tell you something.
What in the world?
And you drive a lot around here like I do. Is there any street right now in Jacksonville and the surrounding counties that's not being that has a detour or construction not on it?
It's unbelievable. I tell this story all the time. Basically born and raised in Jacksonville. I've lived abroad. I lived on the West Coast for a while, Gainesville, Ocala for a while. Born and raised in Jacksonville. I don't want to admit this, but February I turned 60. Okay, so keep that number. Brent Beaird, there are 2 or 3 areas, highway areas in our area that we live in, that we traverse. 95 and 295 and the Mixmaster. And there are 3 or 4 areas, I'm telling you, as sure as I'm sitting here, those areas have been under construction 50 of my almost 60 years.
Yes.
They never stopped being under construction.
Right.
Am I right?
No, you're right. And listen, I hate to gripe about it, but just for today, for instance, I've been down 95, I've been down 10, I've been down JTB.
Yep.
I live in Clay County, and I'm just telling you, there is some kind of construction.
It never.
Or orange
ever.
Barrels or orange cones or detours. Virtually everywhere you go
I'll tell you
now
one,
in the city.
and we'll get off this. We'll talk some sports. We've got half hour left, or about 20 minutes, 25. The I-10 95 McDuff going toward, if you want to go from the west side to the Fuller Warren or Union Street, coming back from downtown or from the Fuller Warren Bridge, you want to go to Riverside, Avondale, west side. That McDuff, that area has been under construction, and it's full construction right now for at least 50 of my 60 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
It never freaking stops.
And in some of those areas, it's day and night.
It's unbelievable.
So, but look, I was looking at that today. I'll get off this too. And in fairness, that they are doing some work, but the thing that really makes you wonder in that McDuff area, when in the world will that bridge that they're building ever be done in a situation like that?
Never. We'll get off that. Florida, Georgia, Wednesday. We're a couple days away from the game. Georgia, the prohibitive favorite. Last I saw, 17 points. And I can live with that. I could see this game ending 37 Georgia, Florida 20 with a late touchdown. It was 37-13. Right. I can see 17 points. How can Florida hang in there? And I'm looking at how can Florida – Florida's lost 5 of the last 6. Georgia's won 5 of the last 6, the last 3 in a row. Number one, Florida's just going to hang in the game until the fourth quarter. Yeah. They haven't been in the game in the fourth quarter.
No, they haven't.
So goal number one is be within striking distance.
Right.
How can they do that? The one area that I think Florida I would attack if I'm Florida and hope like hell this works. I think Jason Marshall comes back, the cornerback.
That would
Florida's
be
got decent cornerbacks.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a shaking your boots Georgia receiving corps like it has been with Brock Byers and Ladd McConkey. Those guys you could not cover one-on-one.
No.
If I'm Florida, if I've got a chance, I take my chances seeing if I can cover Georgia's what I think is a good, not great receiver corps man-to-man.
Yeah.
And if I can cover those guys man-to-man, there's times you can go zone. But if I think I can handle Georgia's receivers, they're going to win some.
Yeah.
And I'm going to win some.
Mm-hmm.
I think that changes everything. I don't think there's a Brock Bowers. I don't think there's a Ladd McConkey. And Ra Thomas is gone.
Yeah. Dominic Levitt is
nice
probably
player.
Better. And I'll tell you, the other guy they've got to cover whenever play is ETN.
ETN.
Coming out of the backfield.
I think he could – Florida needs to have a plan for him.
They
I
do.
could see Georgia flaring him out right, flaring him out left.
Times, yes.
But if Florida's going to make hay, if Sunday we go, wow, Florida either played their ass off or pulled the upset, I think their cornerbacks have got to have some wins man-to-man so Florida doesn't have it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
If I think I can cover a couple of your receivers, 2 out of every 3 passing plays, I think it gives you a lot of options.
It does. They've got to get some pressure also on Carson Beck.
And he's a trump card. I don't think he's played well this year.
He really hasn't. That's your reality. They've got a lot of guys who are hurt. Small Munden is hurt. He probably won't play.
Looks like he will not play.
The guy who could play, that would make a big difference, would be Tate Ratledge on their offensive line.
Big time player for Georgia. Have you heard the story about Georgia? They've got 2 or 3 guys out for suspension because of targeting.
Yeah.
Have you heard that? I think Georgia's got a couple guys that are out for targeting.
Yeah.
And then next week, Texas will have a couple of guys out for targeting. It's weird the way this is falling.
Right.
But Georgia got 1 or 2 guys that'll miss a half.
Sure.
And Texas, they don't play this week.
That's correct.
But they got a couple guys targeting that have to miss the first half against Florida. That's weird.
Well, they need all the help they can get with that. Also, but look, I remember you and I were there together in the press box. You remember this? Anthony Richardson was quarterback. It was close in the first half.
The second quarter.
And he did what? Was it 2 picks or a pick and a fumble? But he did something. Georgia got the ball back. And they scored twice, and it was over at halftime.
It went 3-0 to 24-3 at halftime in the blink of an eye.
Right.
And that's another area from Georgia's perspective. I mean, Richardson, remember, it was unfair. They threw him. That was his first start.
Yes.
You don't.
Good point.
And this was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
This was a really good Georgia team. Not that this is not a really good Georgia team.
Right.
That wasn't fair. I don't think that Lagway is that far removed from being ready. He's much more ready.
Yes.
But, man, you're still asking DJ Lagway to go in and play against the number 2 team in the nation.
Yes.
And you've got to play. He's not going to play flawless. He may throw one to the wrong guy, and he may fumble. But that's about all he can do.
I agree.
You can't have multiple interceptions and multiple fumbles.
No.
And how Lagway holds up. Now, he might make some special plays.
Yeah.
He might make some special plays.
If Florida's, we're pretending here, but if Florida's competitive until what, Terry? Halfway through the 3rd, beginning of the 4th, and there are no moral victories in the SEC, but let's be honest, if that happened, would that make Gator fans feel better?
I think it's a building block.
Yeah.
It's a building block. I mean, Georgia,
I agree.
Georgia's been so dominant, not just against Florida, but in college football.
Sure.
Everybody but Alabama. Georgia, what they did in Austin. If Florida is in the game in the 4th quarter, they haven't been in the game in the 4th quarter.
No,
right?
They haven't been.
They haven't been in the game. It would be a step in the right direction. Let's take this until the end of the show, if you don't mind, Brent Beaird, and hopefully, Zach, that's okay. If it's not, well, let's blame Patrick Young. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get our counter. I wanted to look at, and we'll have you on before the end of the week, but Ohio State at Penn State, noon, Fox. Isn't this one that James Franklin? I think Ohio State's winning that game.
Yeah.
Isn't this one
I agree.
James Franklin has to have this win?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would. Now, here's some numbers here. Ryan Day hasn't beaten the top 5 opponents since September of 22. He's lost 4 straight. James Franklin hadn't beat a top 5 opponent since 2016.
I was going to say,
he's lost.
Somebody's going to win.
He's lost 10 straight.
Right? Somebody's going to win.
10 straight.
How about that? Being at home, Ohio State has got talent. They're banged up on the offensive line. Penn State's got – I think Ohio State's winning the game. Penn State's got to win this game, though.
Hasn't Franklin made a career out of being 9-3 and losing fourth quarter leads to Ohio State in Michigan?
And he made a career out of – not that what he did at Vanderbilt wasn't good. And I mean, it's Vanderbilt. I know they're having a resurgence now, but it's Vanderbilt. He also made a career against the SEC East in a chunk of years where Tennessee wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Florida wasn't very good.
Right.
And Georgia wasn't very good.
That's
taking it away, but that's how he got the Penn State job.
Yeah, he did.
He won
Absolutely,
games
he
against
did.
those guys. He beat Kirby, I think.
And see, there are people who
Wasn't he the quarterback, the coach at Vandy when?
Yeah.
Vandy beat Kirby.
I think it was
and
Kirby's
Georgia
first year.
in year one.
Yeah.
He beat Florida in Florida Field. I was there.
Right.
And I think he's had a win or two over Tennessee.
But look, explain this to me: is when big jobs come open, always in the top 5,
Why?
James Franklin's name's in there.
It's amazing.
It really is.
It is amazing. Ole Miss at Arkansas. Arkansas has been one of the fun surprises.
They have
the
been.
Quarterback Green's come over from Boise State. I had Pittman getting fired along with Dave Aranda.
Yeah.
I said, man, there's going to be a big-time offensive line coach available and a big-time D coordinator.
Yes.
Pittman's put it together, man.
He sure has.
They're good.
They are.
That's going to be a hell of a game.
And Bobby Petrino has done a great job. This Green kid at quarterback has been a lot of fun, too, and they've had 2 different guys running the ball. Their defense is better. I think at this point, they're going to be a bowl team, and he saved his job.
I'm with you. They were 1 game from bowl eligibility. They got 5 wins. Speaking of Vanderbilt at Auburn, Vanderbilt closing in on a bowl. Vanderbilt should win this game.
Yeah,
Vanderbilt, if they're supposed to go to a bowl, they go into Auburn and they beat Auburn, and I think they might.
Maybe the dumbest thing we've seen in a long time in the SEC is having 5 straight home games in September and 0 home games in October.
That's going to bite them, isn't it?
That's
Auburn's getting better.
Yeah, and they are.
And they walked the dog on a Kentucky team, I think, is quit.
Yeah, they did. Yes.
But Vanderbilt should win this game.
Yeah,
if you deserve a bowl game, go win at Auburn.
But see, what it
and don't forget Pavia.
Yeah.
He's already won at Auburn.
He has.
As a starting quarterback.
As New Mexico State with Jerry Kill. But see, the other thing with Auburn is it's amazing how ironic. It's amazing, but it took tell me how it took Hugh Freeze like 8 games to figure out that he needed to run Jarquez Hunter.
Isn't that crazy?
They did 20 times a game.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? It goes from nearly 300 against Kentucky. Number 1 ranked Oregon, undefeated. They're at Michigan. I think, or Michigan, nice win over Michigan State. Michigan's playing with house money. They're the defending champions.
They are.
Right? And this is not their year. They've had another quarterback kind of
the
retire.
Kid decided,
retired. Oregon should when this is over, Oregon should put a pretty big number.
Easily.
Obviously, Indiana. Here's this possibly an upset special. Indiana, 13th ranked in the nation. Everybody loves Signetti. They're at Michigan State. Michigan State just lost to Michigan in a tough rivalry game. Jonathan Smith came over from Oregon State. He's done nice stuff at Michigan State. I think he's going to be good. Keep an eye on that game for an upset special. Texas A&M, 10th ranked. They've got to go with Marcel Reed now the rest of the way, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
They're at South Carolina. How dicey might that game be?
It's dicey because of South Carolina's defense. This Kennard kid on the edge rusher is one of the best anywhere.
Keep an eye on that game. 7:30 ABC. South Carolina could dash A&M's hopes of a big season. And South Carolina, every win, they raise their bowl a little higher.
Sure they do.
A little higher. A little higher. Keep an eye on that. And damn, who would have said this is almost take a peek at 8 o'clock ACC Network.
Clemson.
Saturday night. No, SMU hosting Pitt.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
SMU.
I agree.
Pitt undefeated.
Yeah.
SMU. Your notes told me this. SMU won a game in overtime over Duke.
Right.
In overtime. SMU committed 6 turnovers.
To 0.
Duke 0. And you can't win a game 6-0 turnovers, and you're the 6th. Brent, that's 6 possessions you gave away. And they won.
In our years, our years, Clemson and Louisville.
Yeah, what were you saying about
is the other good game. In our years of covering football, I don't know if I ever remember that ever happening where you have 6 turnovers, the other team has 0, and you win the game.
Have you watched?
It's almost impossible.
Have you watched? SMU's fun.
They are.
They're fun.
Rhett Lashley's done a nice job there.
And Cade Bell, 8 o'clock, ACC. I know it's not ABC, CBS, NBC, but it's a start. If Pitt goes and puts a lot, if Pitt can score with SMU, regardless of the win, and not that Cade Bell doesn't care about the win, but this is a good game for Cade Bell.
It is.
If he can
it
score,
really is.
SMU, they're fun as hell.
Yeah,
on
they
offense.
are. They really are. But look, there's no doubt. And listen, you and I both know that for the ACC, they're not going to get more than 1 or 2 teams in.
No. Is Bama still in the hunt for the SEC
Yes.
championship game in Atlanta?
Yes.
I think you'll agree. 2 of these teams are playing, and maybe I've left somebody out. Texas A&M, Georgia. A&M undefeated, only undefeated team in the SEC. We got 5 minutes. Georgia 4-1. Texas 3-1. Georgia beat Texas. Tennessee 3-1. An uncharacteristic loss to a pretty good Arkansas team.
Yeah.
LSU 3-1. You got to say they're still in it.
They are.
Alabama, are they still in it? A&M at South Carolina, at Auburn, Texas. Georgia, Florida at Ole Miss, Tennessee. It's pretty tough. Texas 3-1. Florida at Arkansas, Kentucky at A&M. That's tough for Texas.
It is.
I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Tennessee, quiet. They've been off 3-1 in conference play. Kentucky, Mississippi State, at Georgia, at Vandy. Tough too. Oh, Tennessee's going to rue the day they lost to Arkansas.
Let me tell you the trump card that some of those teams have. Let's say Bama goes, they run the table.
Okay. They're
10-2. Okay. Alabama right now is either this first, second, or third team, depending on who you look at, with viewers per game.
Correct.
Look, you and I both understand television enough to where. Okay. Let me throw you this scenario here. What if they've got? What if it comes down between? I'm being facetious, but you get it. But between Alabama and Missouri. That's not a choice.
A slaughter on TV.
That's not a choice.
That's a television.
Yes,
slaughter.
It's a nightmare, isn't it?
Missouri stunk it up. They're probably out of it. But Missouri plays rock fight football.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Not sexy. Holiday season.
Right.
Everybody wants to see high flying.
Yeah.
So you think Bama's still in this thing because it's a ranking thing. The top 2 ranked teams go right.
Yeah. Well, but see, we don't know how many teams to go from the SEC. That could
I'm talking about to Atlanta. I'm sorry. To Atlanta.
Yes, you're right.
Bama's probably not getting into the playoff unless they get into Atlanta.
And the truth of the matter is, there are a lot of these teams right now would rather not go to the SEC championship game.
We talked about that.
They would
in
rather
a weird
not go.
way. If a million teams are scattered with 2 losses, you're thinking, I'll take my 10-2, and take my chances. I'm ranked high enough.
Yep.
I don't know if I want to go to Atlanta, get beat by a Texas, a Georgia, an Alabama, an A&M, and go, wait a minute, we're 10-3 and we're ranked 15th.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And the way this is played out, let me see how much time we've got. The one negative I've seen, I'm happy we got 12 teams. Looks like we got 2.5 minutes. I'm happy we got 12 teams. I can't wait to go to 14. The one thing that's hurt until we expand the SEC to 24, which I think we're going to, and the Big Ten, and then they go to divisions. Here's our problem. The conferences are so big, everybody doesn't play everybody.
No,
Too many teams don't play each other in the conference because you've got 18 Big Ten schools, you've got 16 SEC.
Right.
You can't play everybody.
So
and that's hurting right now.
The other thing going on here is, what if the Big Ten and the SEC flex their muscles? And
I hope they do.
They demand, behind the scenes, they demand 4 each. Well, that's 8, and then 9 would be number 12. That's going to be the
group of
Power 5. Yeah. So that's going to leave 3 openings
to divvy up with the ACC,
so
the Big 12, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Notre Dame gets one for free for some reason.
So Terry, what instead of two teams that would be worthy in the ACC would be probably Clemson and Miami.
Yeah.
But yet you've got Pitt, you've got SMU.
Somebody's getting squeezed.
They are.
Somebody's getting
they
squeezed.
Are, and
we're so close.
Yes.
We are so close with getting the wokeness out and just going the NFL way, and the NFL does it on the field.
Right.
We're getting there. We got to get committees and voting and
rankings.
I agree. We got to get that out.
Right.
And we're so close.
Oh yeah.
We are so. But you make a good point. Even when we go 14, there's going to be worthy teams left out because college football is still antiquated.
It is.
Until we go.
It is.
Here's your two big conferences. They have two divisions. Win your division. Win your conference. Win your division. Tiebreakers here. A couple at large and go.
Yeah.
Because of tiebreakers. Yeah. Good stuff.
Man.
Good stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. I know we enjoyed bringing it to you from Twin Peaks, our Wednesday home. Stop by anytime over the weekend. They do a great job. I guarantee you that. We'll be doing it again tomorrow, 4 o'clock live from Sliders. Join us tomorrow down in Neptune Beach. Hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll do it again tomorrow from Sliders.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice three-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jacks app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device, you're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jacks Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut